Leaderboard players hate this build. Now you're probably wondering why. Now the reason why they hate this build is because it genuinely takes no skill. Like, I already made a video on another build that got me onto the leaderboard, but this one I can just hop on anytime if I'm doing bad and I'll just go crazy with it just because of how stupid it is. It takes no skill at all to win, and all you do is just spam the same combos. Now, the build is 40 Hakuda, 25 speed, and this is required because you do need to get Thunder Shunko. Thunder Shunko, as you know, has a really good forward crit, which is almost true into a lot of moves. It's almost true into Gehenna. It might even be true. They added some end lag allegedly, but I still think some combos are still true. Like, you can do forward crit into Catching Dragon, depending on how like they get ragdolled. If they get ragdolled in the perfect spot, you're able to Catching Dragon, and then off that Catching Dragon, the default combo is usually Triple Striker, or you can do an Ankle Splitter. But if you do have Craze, you do want to use it immediately after Catching Dragon because it is true, and it'll do a little more than half a bar of damage. It's kind of stupid, especially with how easy Catching Dragon is to land, especially on snow, but we'll get into that later in the video. For our skill boxes, we're going to be using Gehenna and Shori. If you don't like Shori, you can use Confliction. I actually do recommend Confliction because it is a pretty good move. It has Hyper Armor, and it also is, I think it might be true of parry still, so you can experiment with that, but I will be using Shori in this build. Now, the reason for that is because off the back crit, if you do end up guard breaking them, it doesn't guard break, but if you know how to play posture correctly, it will guard break, and then you can do a Shori to force a parry check with either Tora Reach or Negation, or even Triple Sweat Striker if they do end up doing like overpowering slash every time you up tilt them, which is pretty nice. If you didn't know, Triple Striker does go through most Hyper Armors. Some of them don't get broken by it, so you can't use it against Spine Rend, so I don't know why that's a thing, but just know that. Gehenna, though, is a necessity on this build. If you do forward crit, you can land Gehenna almost true like 90–80% of the time, and it's also pretty good for forcing a parry check off your Z or X move. Your Z and X move both have stun on them, so if you do end up landing them, it forces a parry check. They're able to move, but they will be forced to like perfect parry your Gehenna, which most people don't know how to parry because it comes out pretty fast. You can also use it to combo, which is really nice. You can do the first Gehenna proc, and then after that, you know, you have a second Gehenna proc, so proc. If you hit that, you'll go flying towards them with the auto tracking thing, and you can just Catching Dragon immediately after that if you do hit them. Most people won't be able to get out of that, and even if they do react, they block, they get guard broken by Catching Dragon. And then after the Catching Dragon, do your bread and butter combo, the Triple Striker, or whatever move you want to use afterwards. Some overall tips for this build. You do want to play a little bit passive. I'm not saying you can't play aggressive, but if you want to play to your best ability and you really utilize snow, you want to be just farming up your temperature by using your C move, which gives -30, and then landing your X move usually will give you -50. And I believe it gives like 20 something. But yeah, if you do your C move and then you hit your X move, you'll have your frame 1 counter up, which is your -50 Z variant. It also allows you to use your empowered X variant, which gives you Hyper Armor, and it goes pretty far. Like, imagine from here to there, that's how far the range is on your X move. Your C move, you don't really want to use a -50, but you just want to use it to get to -50, if you know what I mean. It also restores a little bit of your HP, so it's really good for playing a little more passive because it regens your health. I think it's around 1–2%. It's not much, but it adds up over a game because you can spam it like basically every time it's up you want to use it, as long as you're not -50. Alright, some basic combos with this build. Your Z and X move have true stun, like I said earlier, so if you do end up landing them, you can force a parry check. I recommend you use Catching Dragon, depending on how close they are. If they're close, use Catching Dragon, and if they're a little further, you can use Gehenna, and both of these combo extend nicely. You can off Catching Dragon, like I said earlier, Triple Striker, Ankle Split, Phrase Blitz, any of those are mostly true 99% of the time if you have good ping. And then off the Gehenna, you can just do Gehenna, and then always have that pressure on them, right? Because you could always proc the second part of it. Like, you could do Gehenna, flash fake out, and then press Gehenna again to fly towards them again, and then you can Catching Dragon off the Gehenna second proc. So yeah, there's a lot of combo potential, but yeah, you want to be utilizing your snow moves to allow for these combos. It's probably enough yapping, so let's get into some gameplay. If you have any questions, of course, leave them below.